Hey, Tactical 40K. It's been another like week or so. I got sick again, so I had a respiratory infection. I'm still kind of getting over it. But I did play one game in between being sick from the last time and this time, and I think I only took one picture of it because I was kind of involved. I played Blood Angels, and the guy that was running the Blood Angels, he run it as an Anvil Siege. Probably not the best way to run a Blood Angels list, but he had some kind of Titan that I can't remember exactly which one it was, but obviously you can do that with the allied units. He was running a Spartan, which is like a legend. Let me adjust this real quick, just slightly. It's driving me nuts. He had a Spartan, which is this god awful land raider thing that has quad like las cannons. He was running, what else he had? Two dreadnoughts, like the old school ones. I think a Furioso, and then maybe a lot. The other one was Librarian, but they're like super small. They're like old school ones. He had Dante with a Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack, and then a few other dudes. Then he had some Eradicators, like just three of them. So that's what I was kind of up against. What I was doing, and this is why we're doing this video, is because I have ran the Vanguard Spearhead, like Raven Guard do. Or they can run other things. Obviously, we've talked about that. But I built my Vanguard Spearhead list, and I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you some of the things that I had in there. Now it's off the top of my head because I've changed the list a little bit from this game. I pretty much almost got. I'm gonna play another game tomorrow, and then I think I've got this whittled down to like a really good Spearhead list. Granted, I'm kind of hankering, I'm keeping myself from buying too many things because it's kind of like an addiction at this point. So we're just gonna run when we run. But here's what I was running: 6 brick Eradicators with Biologus with the blade driven deep. I had a Lieutenant with Combi weapon with I don't even think I ran Shadow Veteran. Maybe I did, but I didn't use it. I don't think I did. I had he won 80 points over, so I was able to put another unit in there because he wanted to run that Titan thing and with Spartan, so he won 80 points. I was like, sure, let's just do it. I'll just run my Lieutenant with Phobos, because then I had an Eliminator Squad with 2 Last Fusils, an Instigator Bolt Rifle, and then I just threw my Librarian in there. I also had my Chaplain with Jump Intercessors, 1 squad of Jump Intercessors. I had 2 Vindicator tanks, Reaper tank, Brutalis Dreadnought, because I was kind of debating on whether, because I have a Brutalis now, I was debating on whether the Invictor Warsuit or the Brutalis would be best. I didn't really learn anything in this battle over that because I didn't get the Brutalis to do very much, let's just say that. By the time I got him in the field, I think a shot with Meltas or whatever. But anyway, so we had that. We had Shrike with 10 Vanguard Vets, a couple Plasma Pistols in there, which I wish I could just run all Inferno Pistols, but I guess the Plasma Pistol gives you a little bit of range. What else did I have? I think that was it. I had one other infiltrating unit. But anyway, so here's what I did. Here's the gist of it, because it doesn't really matter. The gist of the battle was I used Blade Driven Deep, but instead, I can't remember the mission we had, but it was hamburger style deployment, Anvil Seed. Oh, it was Sites of Power. Was the main mission, and then it was like the hamburger style, so long ways, larger no man's land, and then compressed kind of deployment zone. So anyway, I used Blade Driven Deep. I put my Eradicators in cover because he has that Spartan just sitting there, and when I didn't want him to get blasted, that's one of the things about that ability is you got to make sure that, you can get them, infiltrate them, but they better last for a little bit, right? So threw them up there. I threw another unit, I think the other infiltrating unit that I had that was lone up on the objective, and then I can't remember what it was. It had to have been like maybe another LT combo or a Lieutenant with Phobos, maybe with Ghostweave Cloak or something like that. I can't remember because I was just coming down with that respiratory infection. Anyway, I put him up on there, and then I infiltrated my eliminators up on the other objective. So I kind of on the left side of the board, if we're looking down the long ways, I put my 1 dudes near one objective, my Eradicators, Biologus, in cover. They weren't on the objective. I put my lone op dude, infiltrator type guy, and they might have been scouts. I can't remember how I played them. I might have told them, I'll just run these legend scouts I think I ran that legend scouts as regular scouts. But I just said, they just have shotguns. I won't even put weapons on them if you allow me to run this because I don't have real scouts yet. I got to, whatever, kit bash them or wait for them to come up. But anyway, so I threw them up there. Then I threw my eliminators on the other. So I have all 3 home objectives. There's already dudes on them. I threw my lieutenant with combi on my home objective. And then I put in reserve, I believe I put 1 Vindicator tank. Oh, and I had a Tech Marine too running around because he actually played in this game. So, and I had my Reaper because I have a Gladiator Reaper that I run around in there. So I think I put those 2 in reserve. Or no, I put the Reaper up on the left side, which I've been experimenting running with 2 Vindicators, putting 1 in reserve. It's been working out, but you don't want to put both of them in reserve because you want the Vindicator out there. It does work quickly if you can get it within 24 inches. Anyway, it's good for a flanking move. Anyway, I did that. I was able to go first. So what I did first is he had Eradicators on near my Eliminators, and I went ahead and just punched at those guys. I think I killed 1, and then I was able to shoot something else and eventually kill the rest of that squad within 1 or 2 rounds without them even being able to do anything to me. So his Eradicators essentially eliminated. I kept my Eradicators a little bit safe, so I just moved him a little bit onto the objective so that I could score it, but where he would have to maneuver around cover to even get a pop shot at him. I went ahead, I used Deadly Prize, which is good. I Deadly Prize the center objective, then pulled the dudes back off. Maybe I didn't have scouts. Maybe I just ran Shrike up there because of the way he deployed. I think I had Shrike and the vets up there, and I went ahead and Deadly Prize because you do that in command phase. Then I moved them back behind cover, and then I couldn't really do anything with that dang rabbit. Every time I'm on a video, it does it. Anyway, I couldn't really do anything else with these dudes, so I kind of moved my tanks in position, and then I was kind of waiting. Look at this. Hey, stop it. Stop it just for a second. Anyway, so he moved. He had in reserve too. He had some other guys. I can't remember what. Maybe they were. I know Dante was in reserve. What happened? Oh, I had my Chaplain Jump Pack Intercessors. I had 2 squads of Inceptors with plasmas. They were all on Deep Strike. Can't believe I forgot to tell you guys that. Anyway, I had those. What happened was I kind of left my back open, and then knowing that I was going first. And then what happened was, as I saw the first round progress, and I had, my other thing, I had cleanse and bring it down or whatever as my thing. So I was able to cleanse those objectives, or 2 of those anyway, and then, or maybe I was extend battle. I can't remember. Engage in all fronts. So I had engage in all fronts, and I didn't get that first. But anyway, so I did that, and I was waiting for him to move around. He moved his Spartan up, but I had it so if he moved it a certain way that I'd be able to shoot, and I kind of let him know that, I'm not going to get you. So I kind of let him know some of the things. So he put his Spartan back. I think he shot at my Eradicators, killed 1. His Titan he left it back there to keep it safe. Anyway, I come in. What I did, I knew that he was going to be able to deep strike that turn in round 2. So I went ahead and just deep stroked and deep striked my Inceptors and my my Jump Pack Intercessors Chaplain, and screened my back line out that turn, because this is cool about Vanguard. It doesn't really matter. So I screened them out 1 turn, shot my Eradicators. I think I killed some dudes. I killed one of the Dreadnoughts or whatever, which was cool because with the biologists, they got lethal hits. I went Strike from the Shadows, so they got BS, +1 BS. Then you have -5 AP, so the stuff just punches through. D6 damage. I end up killing that, and then later on I use them. We're almost 10 minutes in, so I want to get through this real quick. Anyway, so he had to put Dante near my Eliminators, so he brought them down, and he smoked my Eliminators down to my Librarian, where he had down to he eventually got down to 1 wound. But anyway, he smoked my Eliminators, which is fine. But he put I guess it was like a chess move, right? So he did this. It was like it was the only spot he can put them on my side of the board, because I had everything screened out. Because I brought in my Vindicator on the other side, and my Reaper came up. So that, he had Hell Blasters. That's what I was preparing for, whatever's coming out of the Land Raider, and he brought them out. But he also pretty much sacrificed his Dante, because he went after my Eliminators there on that 1 objective. He did take it off the objective, which I wasn't going to be able to score primary on it. But what happened was he put them in such a way that I can move Shrike and the Vanguard vets out. They get within a range where they throw grenades, right? Then they charge in. Then you got Vanguard vets with lethal hits, and you got Shrike with precision. So what I did is I went with the Vanguard vets. I attacked whatever I could. Then I precisioned Shrike. He took Dante out, which I was impressed with Dante's character. So when I was looking at his stat line and everything, I was like, man, I think my next army might be Blood Angels, because I just like the stat line there and Sanguinary Guard and all that other jazz. But anyway, he went in there, wiped Dante with precision. Then it took another turn to kill like everybody else, right? But we went in there, smoked them. They couldn't really hit back. I think they killed a few, and then we went back in and smoked them. Then he shot at them and did some other things and got me whittled down to just Shrike and a Vanguard vet eventually. But Shrike did what he needed to do. He went and killed their warlord. Then I took him back and put him behind cover with his one lone bodyguard left. But he did his job, and that's all I could ask. I think the Hellblasters blasted into him. That's what it was. I took my Eradicators. I also shot into the Land Raider. For some reason, my Vindicators were not like it was weird, because this is the first time my Vindicators didn't hardly do anything. They couldn't do anything. They shot, but nothing was hitting, even with a +1 hit on one of them. His last cannons from his Spartan took one down to 1 wound. Luckily, I had my Tech Marine there. But the Reaper ripped into the Hellblasters. The Eradicators, I think I shot at some of the Hellblasters, and then when I could shoot the Spartan, I shot the Spartan, and they actually did some work on them with lethal hits and all that jazz. So really, the MVP was the 6-man Eradicator brick and Shrike. So I know everybody's running aggressors with the biologists and putting them off the board with Blade Driven Deep, or Terminators, which those are all good choices, right? So to me, it's what I would do if I was going I'd run a 6 aggressor brick and then also the 6 Eradicator brick, and then depending on what kind of army you're facing, you attach that biologist, or maybe you run 2 biologists, but you attach the one with Blade Driven Deep to the aggressors when you're facing more of an infantry based unit, and if you're facing more monsters or vehicles, you run the Eradicators up there. And then with vehicles, I still like my Vindicators. They didn't really do as much in this one, and I didn't get a chance to really test out the Brutalis. Oh, and one other key thing about the Vanguard Spearhead that I totally forgot. So after I screened in that, if you're still with me here, after I screened in round 2, or turn 2, I used the guerrilla tactics, and I pulled my Inceptors back, right? And I threw them up the board the next round, and then he pulled his Titan out, and that's where the Eradicators actually did some work on the Titan. They took him down, and then I finished them off with plasma. I think they took 12 wounds or 14 wounds or something off him, and then I just smashed them with my plasma, with 6 interceptors with plasma, and then that was good. But anyway, the point being is that I wasn't running Infiltrator, so I had to be flexible, and I went screening my back. Then I used guerrilla tactics and then threw my Inceptors back up the board where you normally would want to throw them, right? And they did whatever they needed to do. Plus, I was able to put characters on a few objectives, score for Sites of Power, and for the primary. I cleansed. I forgot to do some cleansing because I was starting to really get into the mode of battling, and I was so far ahead by round 3 that we were just like, oh, let's just blast each other essentially with whatever's left. So I end up winning significantly, but I guess the learning there is Strike from the Shadows is great. Guerrilla Tactics is great too because it gives you flexibility. Deadly Prize is great because it disincentivized him to go on the center objective, and allowed me to pretty much set a trap. Even though he didn't go into that trap, Dante went into the trap instead, my Shrike trap. And then what else was there? What other key things? Blade Driven Deep is good. You just got to utilize it specifically in a manner that you don't put your guys in to a shooting lane right off the bat. I could go either way. I like the Reaper for Gladiator tank. But I could go either way on that with with a with the other one. What is it, the Lancer, and getting rerolls. But the Reaper does throw out some devastating wounds, and with 2 Tempest bolters, you're throwing out some real firepower. What else is there? Like I said, Divergent Chapters, you could probably do pretty well with Vanguard. Anyway, I like the Blood Angels. I really liked his army. I might try running Blood Angels a little bit with this. But anyway, so MVPs, the Eradicators, Shrike and Vanguard Vets. And I didn't really get, like I said, I didn't get the Brutalis in there because the point of the Brutalis, what I wanted to do was tank shock and then use a little bit more of the, the melee, twin link, 6 attacks. But what I found in that battle is if I'd ran the Invictor Warsuit and been able to scout up, I would have got into a better board position to be able to interdict the enemy, to use tank shock. And even though he has got a little bit less in the way of melee, he would have affected the battle a little bit more than my Brutalis. Now, should I maybe run the Brutalis in reserve and then bring him on later? Possibly. We're going to try that. I don't know what army I'm facing tomorrow, but we are going to go into it and with the Brutalis again, and pretty much it's a very similar list. The only other I'm tweaking a little bit, I'm going to throw 3 aggressors. And actually, hear me out on this. I wanted to run a repulsor and just run 3 aggressors in there and then come in reserve, go blast a little bit, and then drop the aggressors off, let them run around the board, and then if I need to, pull them up, throw them on the other side of the board, just to have fun. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to run the aggressors, and then I might pull them up and throw them on the other side of the board, be a little more tactical about it, depending on what he has in Deep Strike. So we're gonna experiment with some of the aggressors. The other thing is, before I let you go, one of the best ways to use the Ghost Weave Cloak, one I found, is either Lieutenant with Phobos, because he has Deep Strike, he has Infiltrate, he has Scout. Gives you a lot of options in the beginning, and then you can pull him up in Deep Strike and put him in to do actions. The other guy is actually, I know everybody says Grav is Captain, but if you put it on a Tech Marine, because he gets blown up, he's in 3 inches of the vehicle, but you can have a Tech Marine with Ghost Weave Cloak running up to your other, whatever other vehicles he might have on the other side of the board, and then he gets blown up while he's doing that. And then he's also a beast. He's got, a Forge Bolter with 3 attacks at 5, 1, 2. Then if somebody tries to get close to him, he's got the melee. He's not a bad option to throw that on there. So I might experiment with running a Tech Marine like that. But right now we're going to run a similar list to what I ran against Blood Angels. But the only other thing is throwing some aggressors in there and taking out my Eliminators and the Librarian. I know that sounds counterintuitive to a Raven Guard list, but we're going to do it that way because we have a lot of shooting and we have the mobility with the Vanguard Spearhead. But I'm trying to find something competitive. Like, so the Eliminators, they did all right. The problem is balancing the scoring units with units that affect the battle. So, like with Deadly Prize, you want to get a unit up there, get the Deadly Prize in, and you want to pull back. So it's sticky. You wait for them to come in, then you go smash them. So that's what the ideal is. But anyway, we're almost at 20 minutes, so I'm going to leave it there. If you got any questions, let me know. Sometimes I get to read the comments, sometimes I don't, because I've been sick for it's been an interesting fall. But we're getting to it. My other list, Iron Storm, I already got that set. We had a good showing, like I said, against World Leaders. We might run that. It depends if that guy tomorrow. I want to give him an option. Does he want me to run? Does he want to face Spearhead or an Iron Storm? Because he might want to try out some things against lists he might see. But those are the 2 lists that I have built here, and we're just tweaking the Spearhead. But my Iron Storm is pretty solid. I've got scoring units, I've got smash units, a lot of tanks, Tech Marines, all that jazz, as we talked about before. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Peace.